So there are a lot of questions being asked about VR adoption. Who's using it? What are their motivations? What experiences resonate most? So we set out for answers, working closely with Thrive Analytics, ARtillry Intelligence authored questions to be fielded through its established survey engine. And the result is Wave 2 of Thrive's virtual reality monitor, which taps a sample of almost 2,000 US adults, as well as a narrative report we published to unpack the results and strategic implications. So what did we find out? First, 11% of respondents have used or own a VR headset, which is up from 8% in Wave 1. Now, Gear VR is the most penetrated headset, followed by PSVR. But Gear VR is notably trending downward, which we believe is due to price reductions among Tier 1 headsets, as well as added competition this year from Windows Mixed Reality, as well as the new batch of standalone headsets. Now, other notable trending includes Rift gaining ground on Vive over the past year, which supports evidence we've seen elsewhere in the market. And we believe this is largely due to Oculus's investments in content creation, as well as aggressive price competition that's part of its overall loss leader approach that's pursuant to a longer-term platform strategy. And that's going to make it really hard for other margin-dependent hardware players like HTC and Samsung to compete. Another important finding was that 65% of VR users reported either extreme or moderate satisfaction, which is actually a really strong quality signal. Few consumer products have such high satisfaction ratings, but it's not all good news. So non-VR owners conversely reported low levels of interest, and the top reason they cited was just not interested, which is a pretty damning and definitive sentiment. So what those findings together suggest is that VR's immersiveness represents a double-edged sword. So it produces highly visceral and satisfactory user experiences, but you have to try it first. So that creates a bit of a marketing challenge because VR's advantages can't really be communicated to non-users through traditional marketing methods like ad copy or even video. So it becomes a question of how do you push that first taste to users at scale? So one answer is what we call gateway drugs, and they include retail installations and VR arcades, which can work towards cultivating the next generation of VR owners with more temporal or try before you buy type experiences. Another important gateway drug will be standalone VR, and it checks all of the boxes for mainstream appeal in being cheaper and lighter and untethered and having more frictionless session launches. And the poster child there is Oculus Go. So its market launch actually came after these survey results were fielded, so it's not fully represented here, but we believe future waves of this survey will report strong penetration and satisfaction for Oculus Go. So for one, it has a solid spec sheet. The price is also right, again due to Oculus's aggressive price competition. $200 is actually the price point under which adoption inflects in these survey results. Another top survey sentiment was the importance of content in both quality and volume. And Oculus Go has more than 1,000 apps right out of the gate because it's backwards compatible with Gear VR's library. And going forward, I think we'll continue to see the gravitational pull of developers to Oculus Go, incentivized by its installed base, which we project to grow to 1.3 million units this year. So that just scratches the surface. You can see a lot more in the full report. Meanwhile, a high-level takeaway is that VR's growth will be driven by continued downward pricing pressure, as well as lots more content, maybe a killer app or two, and the continued march of Moore's Law to create faster, lighter, and more capable standalone hardware, such as Oculus Santa Cruz. And all these events will really collectively push VR forward, but it'll be a gradual process.